It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night, I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you...
The Beatles are a very well-known band, even though they have not been around since the 60s. Since their split, their memory has been kept alive, especially in their hometown Liverpool, with places such as the Beatles Museum, the Cavern Club, where they used to play, and the Hard Day's Night Hotel. But I bet you never thought you could study a master's degree in the Beatles. Liverpool Hope University have gone that step further and done just that. As the first university ever, idolising the Fab Four by giving students the opportunity to further their knowledge, and we're here to find out, what were they thinking?
The idea behind the MA really was to try to develop what we've already got in terms of popular music studies courses here, which have been in existence for probably about 15 years now, but to focus those around something that has a particular location issue with Liverpool, and obviously something which was of world significance, and that's the rise of the Beatles. And there's also this whole issue about cultural history and the way in which a phenomenon like the Beatles is not only just about the music, but it's about industry, it's about identity, all sorts of things. So the idea was to develop what we had as a university here, but also to capitalise on the fact that we're in, where we are. There are 4 modules in the MA, and they're all in their own way looking at different aspects of the phenomenon of the Beatles. So there's one module which looks particularly at location, which is kind of ethnomusicological. What was it about Liverpool? How did Liverpool develop as a popular music centre? And that's a fascinating thing. There's an issue, the music industry. How did the Beatles, the phenomenon of the Beatles, affect music industry? How did it spread? And that's not just about their music. Then there's some analytical things about the music itself. So there's there's a whole range of different aspects.
Do you believe that there is enough academic material to base on a master's degree?
Yes, I mean, the question really is there enough subject matter? And the answer is sure there is. I don't believe that when you have something of such musical significance as the Beatles undoubtedly were, that makes it any lesser a subject to study and to find out about than if we were looking about, Vaughan Williams in Gloucestershire or something. I don't believe that we should grade things just because they're inverted commas high art and make they're more worthy of academic study than those things that aren't. And I think we can learn an awful lot about our own times from looking at the way in which a phenomenon like that develops. Where did their music come from? And it was very eclectic. It came from all kinds of different sources. It came from American music, it came from certain aspects of British pop music of the time, it came from the generation before, it came from quite a lot of show music in the 40s as well. There's some very, very interesting roots into the music of the Beatles, which is very interesting to study. And we can see, as we look at music in our own time, we can learn an awful lot about what's going on now by studying other periods, whether that's the Beatles or anything else. So, I mean, obviously the Beatles are a very, very good musical group to study because their achievements were fantastic. Their songwriting, I believe, is fantastic. They're very interesting from an industrial music industry perspective. I mean, the word music industry wasn't used until the 90s. I think probably the Beatles must have invented that as well. That there are many other things that happen which are worthy of study, which teach us about our own times and about the way in which culture develops anytime.
So there is an academic value to the Beatles Masters, or so the head of music would say. But what do other people think?
I think it's completely worthwhile. I mean, it's whichever way you want to look at the Beatles. I mean, it's a great study if you're looking at sort of sociology, if you're looking at social conditions and the economic conditions in Liverpool or Britain during the 1950s and 60s. I mean, studying the Beatles is great. regardless of their music, just as characters and how it's all developed for them and why. Then you've got obviously the musical aspect of it and how they developed, and I think it's openly said that that what the Beatles did for popular culture went beyond just their music. It became an art form. They became an institution here in Britain. So if you want to look at the music, then again, if you want to look at them as being iconic British subjects that exported Britain throughout the world, Beatlemania was Britain finding its way to perhaps places that had lost contact with Britain during the 50s and 60s. And then there's the design of clothing and the fact that Lennon and McCartney were both artists in their own right. And John was also an author and a poet. So it encapsulates so much of popular culture, literature, art. I think the content of their music and their ability to compose really did make them stand out from the crowd, as well as them singing cover versions of great rock and roll and blues classics. It is a fascinating subject, and what's great about it is that it's so much about Liverpool as it is about the four individuals. So I think it's great for the city that there is such a degree.
I don't think it is, to be honest. I think if you're going to study music, and I think it's a bit of a waste of time.
As an entire degree, I can't really see
it being useful.
how far it,
If it was a module in a music degree, then that will be helpful, but I don't think you wasting a entire degree.
I knew that you could study popular music and culture at many universities, but I'd never heard of a specialisation in the Beatles. I think that study of anything artistic has its own merits. I think that probably nowadays we're very orientated towards vocation. I think that there is a lot of interest in entertainment and art and music, and as such I think that any study of anything of both historical as well as cultural musical interest is of value, so yes.
So now that the Beatles Masters Degree is up and running, how is it going?
We had about 200 applications, and we've got 17 people currently sort of on the books, which gives you some indication of the number of people that we turned down. Obviously we couldn't have run a course for 200, but we have to be very, very careful about who we accepted and why we accepted them. The students think it's knockout. That was the word I heard yesterday. They're loving it. We were able, when they first arrived, we were able to give them a tour put them on that yellow magical mystery bus. So we particularly the ones from abroad, they were just knocked out of that. And they've been so excited by it. All I hear is just fantastic enthusiasm for it and great excitement.
So there you have it, a master's degree fully dedicated to the legendary Beatles. Although the opinion about the academic level differ, the Beatles degree is a fact. What will be next? A Beatles school? A Beatles GCSE? But the most important question is, would you study it?
I would like to study it, but I don't have the time because I'm too busy delivering the expectation to people who visit Liverpool because of the Beatles.
I grew up being a teenager in the 60s, and therefore this is reliving some of my youth. And I think that I have studied in an informal way, but I wouldn't study it as a formal qualification, no.
Well, shake it up, baby, now. Shake it up, baby.